Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy Nick, man, from the Sweeterman podcast.
And it's your boy Will from the Sweeterman podcast. This is episode 2 of Millennial Minds, and we got a lot of feedback.
We did get a lot of feedback. So we pretty much, we kind of took a chance. We wanted to do more than just the podcast episodes, where I think we primarily talk, kind of goof around, just kind of show you who we are. But
Yeah.
we do have a serious side to
Absolutely.
us, where we do want to tackle.
Because we are men with depth, and we got a lot to talk about.
We do. So yeah, we took a chance. We talked about single parents, and we had a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people actually could relate with us on that. So that kind of motivated us. A lot of people were like, "Hey, we would love to hear more about serious stuff," right? So we decided, in between when we aren't doing the actual full episode, that hey, you know what? We got time. We love our listeners. Let's give them some content that they actually want.
Something a little different,
Definitely something with added value.
Giving people like a little more into us, like our in-depth analysis with things and things that we deem like that everyone doesn't have a voice, or maybe who just want to speak out. We can be that kind of people to do that for.
And I feel like especially with this topic we're going to talk about today, which you probably could tell by the title that we haven't come up with yet.
Yeah, it's going to be on the download. You're going to go see it when it uploads.
But we decided that we want to talk about college, because we both have gone to college. I feel like a lot of people are either going to college or have graduated from college, or even thinking about going to college. So we thought, maybe we'll kind of dive in and talk about the values of it. Is it worth it? And these are all things, right? It depends. So I guess let's kind of get into it, right?
Dive right in.
So I guess the way we start is, why do people go to college?
Yeah, like big question. I mean, everybody's in high school, and they're talking about like where they want to go, what they want to do. Why do we go? And I think
let's start with you. Like, what made you decide to go to college?
For me, I decided to go to college because I want to pursue something in medical field.
Okay.
And I currently still do pharmacy. I want to do pharmacy, and that personally, you have to go get a higher education. You have to do that. You have to go get your master's.
Yeah.
So you have to go.
So when did you realize that? Like, I guess what point in like high school, middle school? When did you decide that you needed to go to college?
My freshman year of high school, when I was in New York. Yeah, when I was in New York in high school, my freshman year, me and my mom had a conversation. She's in the medical field. So she wanted me to be either in medicine or something like that. And as a young age, she put that into me, like had a full investment, be like loving my mom and just being like with the family. She enticed me to do that, and I just kind of fell in love with it.
Gotcha.
Everything with it, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it was just kind of a norm in my house. I think, both my parents, they didn't go to college. So I don't know, just growing up, college was the norm. So even when I graduated high school, I didn't feel like oh shit, I graduated from high school. It was just kind of like, all right, next step, college. Yeah. And it was always just, it was a norm. Like in my house, it was built like you're going to college. My whole life revolved around academics and just studying all the time to prepare for college. So that's how I kind of got into it, honestly. It wasn't really a career path. I just always had the kind of the normal, I guess, mindset: go to school, get a degree, get a great job. And I think.
So you think your parents push you in that mindset?
But I think back in their time as what are they, baby boomers?
Baby boomers.
That generation, if you had a degree, it was a really big deal. It was like kind of a guarantee. You get a solid job, you take care of your family.
Yeah.
So it's a very safe
bet.
But I think now in our generation, it's more about taking risks. So
Absolutely,
a lot of people take risks, and some people don't go to college. You have a lot of stories about people who, instead of going to college, they pursued starting their own business and became millionaires.
Yes.
Right?
That kind of ties into kind of finding your path, right?
Yeah.
People find their path. They could go the college route. They cannot. While we are very heavily invested in social media, and we literally could like find anything and click of the button.
And that's how it is. I think technology has kind of warped college a little bit.
It did, for sure.
Where now, if it really depends on what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, say if you wanted to be a professional podcaster or professional like YouTuber.
Yeah, there's no school for that.
There's no school for that.
No,
that's just more something you're figuring it out on your own, and these are things that you're just kind of creating that content without it, right? But I think college is supposed to be geared towards actual careers that you're going to get into, right? So I don't know. That's just how I kind of feel about it. With like, when it just really depends on what your plan is.
What's your mind? Yeah, like what type of mindset are you going in with college? Like, whether it's like, okay, I need this 4 years degree. I may like not, but I want to, making a personal goal.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you're the first one in your family and your generation to be going to college, so you use that as like maybe
A
a
motivation.
motivational tool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To be like it's like a milestone in your
It's like a
career.
milestone,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Maybe you don't, maybe you know, like deep down, like you don't want to go, or maybe what you're doing is something that doesn't need a requirement of education, but you're just doing it off that.
yeah, and I think for some people it could be that maybe financially,
Financial.
maybe their family wasn't well off, so they've instilled, hey, if you go to college, you're not going to end up like this. This is an
Yeah.
opportunity for you to grow and actually make something of yourself. And you know, I think this is more of an old time thinking.
It's
Like I
very
think,
old school
yeah,
type of feels now. It's not that's not the new era where
I don't
as
think
far
so.
as education is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
education is a lot different now.
I think it's a lot different. It's really again just depending on what you want to do.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then: what do you think? You think would it be a privilege to go to school, like college, for a 4 year degree in university, or you think it should be accessible for everybody? Should it be free?
I think it should be free, but I think as of right now, it's definitely a privilege. College is a privilege. It's if you have the means to do so. Because most people when they go to college they don't work, right? Some people don't work.
Some
I
do.
had to work, but
Some do.
But some people
Some definitely
have the privilege to just get
So
the
just
equity
kind of get it, like put
to
your
focus on the
focus on the books and
education
just grind and,
just work.
then either like family or something's
We'll take
something's
care of
helping
it,
you
you know,
take care of
because
it.
I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
it's an investment, right? So,
It is. Yeah.
so I think in that aspect, it is a privilege. Not everyone. I think a privilege is anything that not everyone can do, right? So if you have the opportunity to do it, then you take that opportunity. But you have to look at at some point, is it an investment?
Okay.
Is it worth the time and the money that you're going to potentially be, spending to get that college? And I think nowadays, personally, I don't think it is, right? Because you might go to college for 4 or 5 years, bust your ass, put yourself in like mad debt, and then you get a job for $15 an hour.
Yeah, especially those people who like go out of state for it.
Oh yeah. So
Definitely.
and that
State tuition is.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 times more.
It's twice, yeah, more.
Yeah,
than
so-
twice as much. But okay. I mean, for me personally, I think. I mean, I agree with you. It definitely, at this point, it is a privilege. But I just deem like college right now in our time and age is not as important.
No, I agree.
It's not.
I agree, yeah.
Definitely not as important. I think people should like really focus on probably maybe taking off like a year and really just go and figure it out. Like I think the most important thing is when you got out of high school, find the meaning of a dollar, because it's like a lot of people in high school don't go to work.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like after high school, if you're really like don't feel like going, or if you feel like you don't know what you want to do, then I would suggest you taking off at least 1 year, and then just figuring out like what's the value of a dollar. Whether it's like McDonald's, fast food, whether it's maybe doing something like going like getting a job at the mall.
See, but that's
anything like that.
but that's where I'll disagree. Because I feel like, well, for me, once I finished high school, I think 2 weeks later I went right into college. I started the early
Yeah,
summer
you went the
course.
early summer course.
But I think it's because I knew my goal was to graduate as soon as possible.
Okay.
So I think if you're going to take a year off, I think that's more so for, which I think is okay. If you need to take a year off for any reason, that's, based on personal preferences, your situation could be different. But I think if you're going to take a year off to figure it out, then really figure it out. But if you already have your goal set, you should start as soon as possible, hurry up and get it out the way so you can start building your career.
Yeah, and if you don't want to go that route, like I said, you take that year off, find the value of a dollar, and then from there, I think that gives you enough motivation as a person to push through those next 4 years and just like grind it out and just because like not everyone's like has that mind frame. Because I promise you, I wasn't in that mind frame out of high school.
But I mean, but when you went to college, you were working still.
Yeah, I did.
So,
I was college and I was also
so
working.
I feel like me and you, we both like I was in college and I was working an internship and I had a job. So I kind of understood the value of the dollar because I wasn't getting paid. I was working that minimum wage while I was in school. It was really like a struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
definitely. College life is a struggle.
It is.
It definitely is a struggle. But has advantages, So, other than that, there's also like other paths you could take as far as getting a higher education out of high school. So let's talk about university versus community college.
Okay.
So,
my take on that?
Yeah.
Depends. I think community college is a great route. I personally didn't go to community college. There's a lot of stigmas, and I think I noticed some trends. I think going there is great if you don't have the means to afford it. But if you go there, you have to really grind it out. Because I think what happens
Yeah,
is a lot
I
of
agree.
I've just seen a lot of my peers will go to community college, take 1 or 2 classes at a time. The environment's laid back, and then now they're in community college getting their associates, and it's taking them 6, 7 years.
6, 7 years as opposed to
Yeah, which
2 years was supposed to take.
and I think sometimes that stigma where you just kind of ride it out and eventually you kind of get bored and most people drop out.
Yeah, or life catches up with them
Yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
can't. But I mean, that's
But I
here
think
and there.
I think if you go to community college, I wish I did.
Yeah,
just because I would have been able to save a lot more money.
Absolutely.
In the long run, but no, I think people, if you do decide to go there, I think it's more of a your goals, lock in there for two years, push through, and then hurry up and get to the university and then graduate.
Yeah, and I think it's really good for people to because I know a lot of people at high school they have this thing, everyone has a stigma oh I got accepted to here, I got accepted to this higher school education,
Yeah.
and there's people who maybe just fake it oh yeah me too, but in reality they didn't, and they just go the community college route, which is not a bad thing, and I'm one person who has done that. I've had I took a year in community college with just straight courses, and I did a dual program with university, and I was doing dual courses, taking my core course, my core educate, my core.
Your bachelor courses.
Yeah, my core courses, and I was taking all my electives in community college.
Yeah.
So I did that for 2 years, and it was great. Definitely saved a lot of money. Going to university is double the price, obviously, and I do agree with you. Community college is a pool of everybody there, people who maybe whether it's people who work there or not, they're not there to benefit you. They're kind of just there to get a check because it's a lower entity.
Yeah.
So people who go to community college, you really have to grind. If you want to do it, you have to put in the work because there's gonna be a lot of people around you that's gonna bullshit it, and people in universities take it a little more seriously, obviously, because they're definitely invested more in the school.
But my fears even were, for me personally, I feel like when I went through college and I graduated, my expectations of getting a job was a lot different. I met reality. When I graduated, I graduated in 4 years with 2 degrees, right? I double majored. And when I came out, I assumed I'd get a job right away. I'd be balling out. But it wasn't the case. I think I'm very impatient. I expect results right then and there.
Right.
I think after 2 months, I panicked. I got a temp job.
Yeah, from a temp. You said a temp agency, right?
Yeah, a temp agency. I went there. I got some BS temp job, and then I didn't like it. It didn't pan out. So then I was back on the grind finding a job. Luckily, everything panned out at the end, but it wasn't as easy as I thought. I think a lot of people
have that mindset in college. They're after this, I got it.
Yeah, but then I think people started to see that reality. I mean, we went to a friend's graduation, and he wasn't even happy on his graduation. You could see the fear in his eyes of him going, "Oh shit! What am I doing after this?" Because he didn't know what was going to happen and lock in.
Sure.
So I look at things like that, and it's just kind of get into that job market where they want you to walk in with experience, but you have no.
But you have no experience because you were in school this whole time.
So we always fall into that
we all fall into that category, then, unless you know people, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. But I just feel
knowing people is huge in the market.
It is.
Workplace.
I think
huge.
I think, and this is my hot take on a degree. I think a degree serves 2 purposes to me. The first one is to get you the initial job, and then once you get the job, I think anyone can work it. You just learn. Most things I learned in college didn't even apply to my current job.
Right. Yeah. Same.
But it's to get you that initial sit down to interview to show that you're competent. Once you get the job, that degree doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then the only time it's brought up, I think, in discussion is when you're fighting for promotion, and maybe you and somebody else are competing for something. If you have that degree and they don't,
it's more of a
that's
standout.
I think that's going to be well, this person has the degree, and I think for me, that's what helped me.
Yeah. They took the time enough to put a 4-year investment in something. And that's what jobs usually look for.
Yeah. So I mean, it again depends what you want. If you go into any kind of field, most jobs provide tuition reimbursement.
Yeah.
So I definitely would utilize that.
You utilize tuition reimbursement if your job does offer that 100%.
Yeah, because I mean, I got my degree, I worked at my job, got promoted, and I think based because I had a bachelor's, went and got my MBA while I was in that job, and once I graduated, got my MBA, I then got promoted again. So it was just a tool which I didn't even have to pay for that MBA. You see what I'm saying? So these are the benefits that I received from it. So I think sometimes you have to work that system.
Yeah, definitely work the system.
And it helps you climb that corporate ladder.
Absolutely. Take that as an advantage because they give it to you. So why not take it? If they give it to you, take it, please. Yeah. Like, don't think that that's something that is given. Just earn it, you know, just do it. So okay, we talked about the differences between those two. So let's talk about the differences between majors versus minors versus people who are undeclared. And definition of undeclared is people who go to college who haven't declared a major. They don't know what they want to do yet. They're kind of just like going with the flow.
Well, this is where it gets tricky, right? I think for me, when you look at a major, you're picking that based on your career. And this ranges. It depends what you really want to do with your life, right? Like if you, like for me, it's all about the money. I picked my bachelor, my degree based on what's gonna get me paid, versus what's gonna get me happy. So if you're gonna pick a major that's gonna get you something like your dream job, then you'll go for that.
Right.
But a minor, to me personally, that's just an extra. That's like a sprinkle on the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
right? It's like an icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's for people who like okay, I really want to do this, but then like I kind of want to do this. So let me kind of like invest some time in that. And college is built under how many credits it is to get your bachelor's? 160? 120. So it's 120 credits. Most of the time, your core courses, which are the ones that your major is, it's not going to equate to 120. So what the school does is give you that 120. So you like may possibly get a minor, or you could double major. Yeah. So that's what the system is. That's a system they're doing. It's systematic. So it's built for you to spend time figuring it out.
Well, that's what the first 2 years are.
The first 2 years are for you to figure it out.
I think the traditional method is you do the first 2 years. You're just doing very general, like the gen ed.
The gen ed is mostly prerequisites. Gen eds.
You're doing the gen ed courses because
some bullshit courses.
The idea is for you to do these classes, which I think is kind of like the 13th and 14th grade, really. It is.
High school, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is, though, because you're just taking general courses, and it's supposed to help you figure out what you want to do. Then that's when you kind of dive in, take different classes to figure out what you want. Mm-hmm. When I went to school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, so I started taking my major classes year one. You know, because I feel like that's the only way. You got to jump right in.
You just got to jump right into it. Yeah, so, and like I said, like people who are driven, knowing they want to do, that's definitely, you have to pursue that.
So I think when you go into school, you kind of have to have that idea, right?
Yeah, and if you don't, that's fine too. Me personally, I didn't have that mindset going into college. Mine was more just kind of like figuring myself out, maybe getting away from my parents, maybe just trying to just grow up, I guess you could say. But then from there, there's people that I've seen that have undeclared, and they're just kind of like going with the flow. Like maybe my parents made me do it, or maybe I haven't really figured out exactly. I kind of like dueling with two things at once.
But so, you know, I've seen people that like will pursue a career and right at the end they switch
it up. Yeah, and that's also
And it's tough, man.
It is tough. It's definitely a bounce back for sure because
But I guess at the end of the day, it's really what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're gonna have to take that hit,
then take the hit.
You gotta take the hit.
Do something that you want to do. Don't do it because someone else does it. Mm-hmm. Don't do it because someone's telling you to do it. Just do it for yourself.
But yeah, personally, no, a minor. I mean, if you have time left, if you have a couple classes you have to
and you
take,
want to just push out that 120 court,
then might as well.
Then take a few, whatever.
I don't really see the value in a minor.
Yeah, me neither.
If you're gonna minor, my mentality is to take. Look, JoJo's getting mad.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I minor.
Yeah.
No, but my mentality,
okay,
and for you too, JoJo, if you minored, you might as well have taken a few extra courses and just got a double major. That's my mentality, but again, situations are a little different. Mm-hmm. So everyone that has a minor, don't kill me. I think it's still great. Having a minor is better than having nothing.
Yeah, it gives you a bigger, wider,
But my mentality has always been like a degree is just like an extra line on the resume. That's me though.
The resume looks a lot nicer. For sure.
All the 4 years of college is really just another line.
It's just put that line in when you get that resume, that online resume.
It is. That's all it is. But I'm very salty when it comes to that kind of stuff. So.
It's all good. But so then on that behalf, time versus investment, because I think college is an investment, obviously, that you put in.
It is.
But do you think the time given as far as like picking up these debts or maybe picking up like you think it equates together?
It depends.
Because
I think it depends because it depends what you decide to do, right? Because if you come in and
let me give you an example. Yeah. Let's say someone goes in for communication. They get their major communications. Okay, they want to do something maybe whether it's in radio, whether it's in something like that, right? Let's say something like that. Do you think the amount of money or debt or whatever they have in those 4 years would equate to the amount of money or whatever they do in that life? Do you think will it equate? Well, it'll definitely man.
It depends,
It depends.
on how
It
they
depends
utilize it.
exactly, and it depends on how you utilize it. What do you think? Like just saying off a major like that.
I think we're in a generation now where you can have somebody come in to school for say if they want to do radio, right? So they go to communications. Which
Okay.
I don't know, guys. Don't like butcher me. If radio has nothing to do with communication major, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's just say it does.
Communication is like very broad.
It's very broad,
yeah,
right? It's
broad.
very broad, but for the sake of this argument, let's say that that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's what you think communication is. I think it could be, right?
Yeah.
So,
we'll not dive into it.
but let's say if you spend 4 years in college learning about the arts of communication, but then you have this other person who spent 4 years interning at a radio station really learning the
from
plug,
high school
and actually learning from someone that is a radio broad, they're gonna learn more. That's why
they're hands on.
I can argue that trade school is actually
And that's something that we're gonna get into in the docket.
just get into it right now.
Slow down,
But I'm just saying, look, I mean, think about it. If you're in trade school, you can literally go in and learn a skill set in 2 years, and then you can make a lot of money off that.
And I agree. I think nowadays trade school is a huge thing. There's two types of people. There's people who are academic type, and there's people who are trade type.
Yeah.
It's two different things.
Yeah.
People who have trade they know they want to do. Maybe it doesn't require a whole lot of education. Maybe it's working on cars. Everyone drives a car.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that's really needed. Maybe it's something that you just find, like a trade. Maybe it's like an AC unit. Everyone has a home.
But that's what I'm saying. If you can become an electrician,
you can
become a plumber. You can be a plumber in 2 years, or I don't know how long. Probably not. I don't know. But I'm just saying you can learn that
about
skill
2 years.
set
About 2 years.
in like 2 years, and it may be a trade school and probably for way cheaper.
Yeah.
And make a lot more money than somebody that's spending 4 years in college that may or may not pan out.
There's a lot of
Like certifications.
a lot of certifications. For
Okay,
sure. I got it, for sure. So certifications as well. Like maybe your job doesn't need you to have a 4-year degree. Maybe you just need to get a certification.
And I think with college, it's starting to get diluted. With like
everybody's having a bachelor's
I feel like
degree?
bachelor degree is like the new norm. It's the standard now. You think it's the norm, right?
Yeah, it's the norm. It's 100% the norm.
It's the norm now.
It's a
Where I
normal
think
thing
it is.
now.
I think in a couple years, having a master's is going to be the norm. So we're just going to be fighting this like cycle of high debt.
Hierarchy of
Yeah, we're just has high debt. You're going to be stuck in debt, and if you notice now,
that's how it's all built.
we're our generation, us as millennials, we're willing to work for less and do more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel that in the position
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
in
yeah.
right now.
But you got to think we're probably getting paid a lot less for the jobs
that we do than
compared
like
to-
probably like 10, 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So that's why again but you know what? But we're paying more school debt, and we're paying more than the people that 10, 15 years
10
ago
years
were
ago.
paying.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? For
And-
them,
yeah.
yeah. It's a whole different. It's a whole. Different
It definitely, yeah. Damn, it's kind of deep, man. I like that.
It is, man.
Yeah, that was really good. That was pretty good.
I'll fight. I'll fight for my millennials, bro.
Yeah,
Like, I'll
for
fight
sure.
for
I mean,
us,
that's
man.
millennial minds, you know.
It is.
That's what we're
saying.
doing,
That's what
giving
we're-
out the content, and you do what you want with it. But so now you jumped the docket low key, but good one.
That's fine.
So let's talk about. We just talked about that. Like, let's go with. Okay, what is there other to do than just going to school? I mean, other than that, other than trade schools, I see a thing as far as like military. Maybe a lot of people take the military route.
Yeah.
And they go there for two reasons. One, they go in free education and get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
You basically get paid. You basically get free education. Go for the free with no debts.
Yeah, I mean that's a good tool. I mean you have to commit for a certain amount of years, but yeah, during that time, if you can utilize getting a free education, then why not? I think going in there like that, you're gonna get paid. You're gonna be provided for. I think that's actually a very good route for people that don't have that financial support.
Yeah.
That's definitely good. That's definitely a good tool.
Yeah.
So I do agree.
Yeah. If you're a person who's on the fence of maybe not wanting to go to college or maybe not want to be in the current situation that you're at, definitely invest your time into the Army. You can do a lot with that. There's a lot of paths for you to take, and they provide you with tools, to be.
That's what I'm saying. But like you can, while you're in there, say if you're even though you're in the military, you could be, say, if you're into finance. You're not. It's not like because when I thought of the Army, I just thought like you're going to be do PT training and a lot of physical.
A lot
stuff.
of physical stuff.
But it's not the case. If your focus is, say, finance, you could be working in the finance department for the Army.
For the Army.
So like you can learn actual work skills while you're getting paid, learning that and going to school for it. So there are tools in that, but then there are people that aren't as fortunate or maybe don't want to go to the Army for whatever reason.
Right.
So these are the people that have to work while they're in school and while they're in college. And we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But that, like, I think for me personally, like if I have to interview somebody, I look at people that are able to be working while they're in school. And I think that adds values too, because when you're
multitasking.
Well, think about it. When you're applying for your first real career job, and you have to argue that you went to school while you worked at Taco Bell or whatever, it's hard to convince them that, hey, I was at Taco Bell. This is why I should work as an accountant, right?
Yes.
But then my line was, hey, look, while I was in school, I if you notice on my resume, I was working different jobs during that time. I was consistent, and then you have to build on. I used time management a lot. I had time management. I was responsible. I learned like the value of $1. While I was in school, I maintained, studying. I worked long hours. I'm showing real dedication. So I think when you join a job, you're showing more on your now your actual I guess your skill set, but your actual like your characteristics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's good. And versus people who don't, yes, they do have a higher like as far as like maybe like getting more awards, getting more maybe they do like services. Maybe they go into like fraternities, sororities. They have more free time to do something like that, as opposed to like working.
Yeah.
That is also a beneficial way too.
Well, yeah, you can build connections.
You build your network, build connections. Don't I mean, yeah, everyone else goes party on Thursday to Sunday, but if you take your time that you don't work, use that to your advantage because when it comes time for you to put that resume out, like have something that's like worth it. Maybe
internships,
like internships. What do you call it, panhandling or no?
Panhandling.
No, no. What do you call it again?
Volunteering.
Yeah, volunteering. But what do you call it? I'm serious. It's a serious podcast. But when you go to a sorority fraternity and you do
pledging,
not pledging. You guys are crazy. No, never mind. I'll think about it later. No, they do it for a purpose. Like they do volunteer hours and stuff. They go for causes. They invest in other things other than
community service.
Things like that. Sure. Yeah, it's a better word for that. But for lack of a better term, you do community services as far as that.
Yeah, I think
and going to clubs, definitely being a president, president of a club or whatever.
But I think that's the point of those of clubs and organizations is one, it's to network, and it's also to show that you were involved in school. And I think a lot of companies like that. I think
show more involvement than just like being an A student in your classes.
Yeah.
Extracurricular activities. That's not the word, but that's lack of a better word.
Yeah, but I think that's like. What I messed up in college is, I did an internship, but it wasn't that great. But I didn't really do clubs. I wasn't really active in school. I just kind of did school, and then I would just leave, and I would just like do my own thing.
Yeah, and you work too. So.
And then I worked, so it was just, I think it made a little bit
time
harder.
for that.
Yeah. But I think if I had joined some clubs or organizations, I would have been in a better situation. I would have been around more professionals that would frequent the clubs to like learn about different places I could apply to, have kind of an in. Maybe they could have helped me in my resume.
Yeah, and you just build. it goes for the college experience. You just build relationships. You find friends. You network, and you just go. That's a whole. Literally, you're paying for that experience.
Exactly.
I think is to have a huge network and taking that network or your platform or whatever you want to do with that. And then just pushing it to the next level.
I agree. I think college it's more of an experience.
Yeah, you're paying for an experience.
Yeah.
That's pretty much bottom line. That's what college is right now, is an experience.
So you know what I mean? What I think, if you're going to go to school, or if you're in school, or you're still trying to decide your career, or if you're in your career, honestly, just DM us, yo. If y'all noticed on the YouTube channel, we're very active, yo. Me and Will, we got that notification on lock. Also, if you follow us on Instagram at the Sweeterman Podcast,
at the Sweeterman Podcast,
we are very responsive on there too. Most of us have gone to college, so if you want to ask us any questions, like honestly, very personalized
questions. I mean,
like,
we're not gonna like share it. If you want us to be anonymous, it's definitely anonymous.
Yeah, like this is just for you, honestly. Like I really wouldn't. I don't mind taking the time out of my day to like if you're curious about what major you want to go into or what your goals are, I wouldn't mind even just like chopping up with you until get that figured out.
Yeah, I mean, it's shit. If like you're pursuing something that you want. And you need like a little extra like help. Maybe you don't know what to pick yet. Maybe you're deciding courses. We're pretty well, with that as well. We kind of.
And I'm saying, even if you see this video like a month or two from now, yo, don't even hesitate.
Yeah.
But you have to be subscribed to me, or I'm not gonna.
So please subscribe. Turn on push notifications. Follow us on Sweeterman Podcast on IG.
Definitely.
Give us comments. Give us feedback. Let us know.
Definitely need the feedback, especially for the millennial minds. Like we want to keep it very serious, like real serious topics. So if you have anything, like literally anything that you really want us to.
What do you think is important, and what do you think is because like we have a little theme, where there's like us. Millennials just talking what's important to us.
Like we'll push the needle. We'll talk about anything that can be uncomfortable that we don't want to talk about.
And I mean, like I said, we're very well versed. We have a lot of experiences in our lives, and there's pretty much we can talk about anything, honestly.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, on that note,
yo, check us out, man. We're gonna keep doing our thing. At least try to drop something once a week. Keep at it.
Yeah. And peace.